You're at 109 right now.
All right, people. I want to show you something. Check it out and let me know what you think in the comments section. All right. This is a picture of Nipsey Hussle, Ermias Joseph Asghedom, and the late Ermias Joseph Asghedom, rapper known as Nipsey Hussle. This photo, I found it a number of years ago, between the last 3 or 4 years ago. I found this photo of Nipsey here. I was watching the video Crenshaw and Slauson one evening. Nipsey had been murdered March 31st, 2019. I was back in Los Angeles. It was around 2020, 2021 maybe, 2022. I'm not exactly certain what year it was. Anywho, I'm watching the video and I see this image, this picture that you see right before you. And it captured, it caught my attention because as soon as I saw this picture, I said, I know exactly where Nipsey was when this photo was taken. I know exactly where he was standing. I know exactly where he was. The reason being is because I have been to where this photo was taken, which is in Japan, Tokyo, Japan. And so I knew that immediately. How did I know that immediately? Well, there's a telltale sign, okay? There's a very famous building in this picture right over here. If you can see that. Yeah, let me do that again. Oh no, what happened? Nah. Okay. Over here, yeah, right over there. You see the numbers 109. Okay, that's because that's a shopping mall. It's very famous. It's iconic. It's so iconic. Let me give you an example how iconic it is. Okay, so I'm here in Los Angeles, and I go into a Japanese restaurant, and I tell them those numbers. I say, "Do you know 109?" And the lady was like, "Yeah, like the shopping mall 109 in Tokyo." I was like, "Exactly." She was Japanese, so she knew that because this shopping mall is iconic. I went to a record store in Gardena, Japanese owned record store, and I said, "Do you know 109?" And he was like, "You mean like the shopping mall 109?" I'm like, "Exactly." So, okay, those are just two examples of Japanese people knowing this shopping mall because it's iconic, right? All right. So the same thing with me. When I saw 109, when I saw this picture of Nipsey, I knew exactly where he was. So bam, okay? Um those are my 109, that's my birthday. Those are the numbers that are vibing with me. Those are my numbers. So when I saw this picture, I was excited. I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's a picture of Nipsey with my numbers, with my numbers." I'm like, "Oh." So I did a screen capture, screenshot, and I saved this image because to me it was like it was everything. It was like, man, we lost Nipsey. Nipsey was so inspirational, so intelligent, so successful, you know, that he was just like, it was just tragic to see him go. And yeah, yeah, Nipsey was quite special. So yeah, to have a picture with my numbers and Nipsey in it, yeah, that made my day. But then I started. Where do I go next? I think uh, it was about a year, maybe even 2 years after I found this picture that I found a work of art. I found this work of art by Jean-Michel Basquiat. Let me see, how do I, the heck is going on here? I can't minimize this. Oh man, what's going on? What is going on? All right. All right. So next, I found this work of art right here by Jean-Michel Basquiat. I found this work of art, and then okay, no. I know it was about a year after I found this work of art. In the most peculiar way, I found this work. Okay, I was watching a DVD about Jean-Michel Basquiat, my favorite artist. One evening, it was very late, 11 p.m. I found this picture. It came across the screen at 11:08, about 11:08, maybe 11:07 p.m. And when I saw the picture, I immediately saw 109 on the picture. And I got excited. I said, "Oh my gosh, there's 109 right there." So anytime I see 109, I get excited. Oh, look, there goes 109. If you know, then you know. This is my story, right? All right, so when I found this painting, I grabbed my cell phone and then I posted about it to Facebook. I posted about it to Facebook at 11:09 p.m. And if you look at that time, 11:09, you have 109 in that time. 1109, 11:09. That was not planned. That just happened. So the way that I tell the story is I found this painting by my favorite artist, Jean-Michel Basquiat, in which he wrote 109 on the painting. I found it at 11:09 p.m. Okay? Just to bring all the little 109, details together. All right. So that was a magical moment for me to have found this painting. But then something dawned on me. Something happened and it said, if I think the spirit moved me. The spirit said, "Doesn't this painting remind you of that picture of Nipsey?" That's what happened. That's what happened to me. I was like, you know what? They kind of remind me of each other, right? So what I did is I went to, how do I minimize this thing? Jeez, you're supposed to be able to minimize it. I don't know what's happening here. Um, if I close it and I pull it up again. All right, there we go. All right. Well, now I can't. I honestly, I can't even change this. What's going on? I thought you could change the thingamajig. No, I don't want to do it. Okay, whatever. Let's. All right. So what happened is one day I realized that, hey, this picture and this painting remind me. They remind me of each other. And yeah, something's not up. I should be able to adjust it. There it was. I had it for a second there. There we go. Oh my gosh, that was tedious. What the heck? Oh, just click it and okay. All right, so here we go. This picture and this painting reminded me of each other. So if you see, you have this figure, what looks like a male figure. And then off to the left, you have the numbers 109. In the picture, you have Nipsey, a male figure, right? Nipsey. And then off to the left, you have 109. So that was the first coincidence that made me say, hey, this painting reminds me of this picture. It was a year later when I started to read. I started to look at the details in this painting, and it struck me because these words and these things, there's so many things in this painting that directly link to Nipsey. And let me show you this to be specific. So I created this image here, this sticker. I actually have a sticker. I created this sticker to highlight everything in the, I'm going to just cover up Nipsey over here. I'm going to show you everything that's in this picture right here. This actual picture, this sticker highlights it because I want you to focus on these details that are in the painting. All right, so here's how it goes. All right. So at the top, it says Alexander the Great. Well, Nipsey called himself Nipsey Hussle the Great. That's interesting, right? That's a connection. The Great. Let's go here. Above the head, it says FKGD, which could look like, F God. I'm not going to use the profanity, F God. But the GD looks like a reference to God in the painting. Well, Nipsey's name was God Will Rise. Ermias. Ermias means God will rise. That's a connection, right? Okay. Now check this out. On the painting, there's the artist Basquiat painted blue on the head. So what I did is I put like a blue bandana on Nipsey's head because what was on Nipsey's mind? But fly crippin', right? Blue. And there it was, blue. All right. So anyway, right? Let's keep it moving. So in the painting it says China, all right? And what's interesting is I'm drawing connections between the painting and the picture. This picture was taken not in China, but in Japan, which is an Asian country, right? So on the sticker, I changed it from China, I changed it to Shibuya. Shibuya is where this picture of Nipsey was taken, okay? So I'm drawing connections. That's what we're doing here, connections. Shibuya, it's still Asian. It's China right there, so that's what's up, okay? Haiti in the painting because Jean-Michel Basquiat is Haitian, right? And then Eritrea because Nipsey was Eritrean, all right? Haiti is like Africa, right? Eritrea is Africa. So there's Africa, and then you have Asia. Asia and Africa represented right there. You see the connections, all right? Okay. Look, on the picture, on the painting, you have these words. You have chest right here. Basquiat wrote chest. I highlighted that in the sticker chest because chest is important. Also, number 6 and number 7, it says liver and lungs right here. Liver and lungs on the painting. Liver and lungs. All right, so the question is, why did I highlight chest, liver, and lungs? That's because, as I learned, well, Nipsey was shot. Nipsey was shot in his chest. And guess which internal organs the bullets punctured, pierced. They pierced his liver and his lungs. What a coincidence that Jean-Michel Basquiat, the artist, would write chest, liver, and lungs on this painting. Right? I'm highlighting it here in the sticker, okay? All right, so that's why this is what the sticker looks like. All right, let's see. Okay, that's about it. We got 47 because the time at which you're learning about this, we have our 47th president in office, right? We got 47 right there. I'm just making it up now. It's just like I'm just like going with it. And then we have an X. Maybe the X is a gunshot that missed 47. Like, I mean, okay, whatever. All right, that's not the deepest stuff. That's not the deepest connection. So let's go back to Alexander the Great and Nipsey Hussle the Great, all right? Because Alexander the Great was a Greek leader, one of the greatest Greek leaders, right? What do we get from Greece? We get the first marathon. The first marathon was run in Greece, okay? And then the story goes the first marathoner, well, ran from the city of Marathon to the city of Athens with the message. He spread the message of victory. We won the battle. That's what happened. There was a battle in the city of Marathon, and the runner, I think his name was Phidippides, his message was victory. I just said marathon and victory. Nipsey's brand is called the Marathon clothing, the Marathon collective, the Marathon burger, everything, the Marathon, right? And Victory. Nipsey's very first album was called Victory Lap. So what I'm saying is when I initially saw Jean-Michel Basquiat's painting, I saw my number 109. And then as I looked at it more closely, I discovered all of these connections with Nipsey. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is Nipsey that Jean-Michel Basquiat painted, okay? And then just a few months ago, I was on vacation for 2 months. Before that, maybe a month or two, something like that. 4 months, about 4 months ago, within the last 6 months, I happened to look at this work of art, and I looked. You can't see it here. It's not well, dog. Right here, there are some squiggly lines, okay? I'm sorry that you can't see that. These squiggly lines in the painting, all right, if you want to find the painting, it's called All Colored Cast. You can look at the painting and you can see what I'm referring to now. But when I did the screen capture, the screenshot, it covered it up. This little icon that comes from Apple iPhones and whatever. All right. So these little squiggly lines right here, they look like EKG readings, heart monitor readings, and it looked as if it was like a flat line, as if to connote, death, which relates to Nipsey because we lost Nipsey. But no, it's not that. That's actually Nipsey Hussle's signature. So Jean-Michel Basquiat has this work of art here where he's got a male figure, he's got the number 109, he's got all of these words and they relate to Nipsey, and then he's even has Nipsey Hussle's signature in the painting. So when I made this sticker over here, I made sure to put Nipsey Hussle's signature here because it looks like the squiggly lines that are in the painting originally. Like, that's crazy, right? All right. So those are the connections between Basquiat and Nipsey. All right. So Jean-Michel created this painting right here in 1982. That was 3 years before Nipsey was even born. All right. This photo was probably taken when, probably like 2013, I'm guessing. Okay. I'm just guessing. But Nipsey was in Japan. So this painting, this photo, this is the sticker, and then this is the painting. And then we have an artist, Thelonious Stokes. Look what this brother did. So this brother from Chicago went to Japan. This is a screen capture here from his video. This brother went to Japan and filmed himself at Shibuya Crossing. Shibuya, remember Shibuya? There it is, Japan. That's where Nipsey took this photo. Okay. Here he is. Here's the brother Thelonious Stokes. There's 109 in the background right there. I was excited when I saw 109. I was like, yo, I know exactly where this brother was. But doesn't this artist's work, doesn't it look even more like Jean-Michel Basquiat's painting? Put those two side to side. Look at that. Look at that. That's crazy, right? That's wild. A real black figure, okay? All right. And now I'm still a believer of this painting is Nipsey. This black figure here is Nipsey right here. Even though Thelonious came through and did this and it looks even more closely related to the painting, um I still think it's Nipsey because all of the words in the painting relate to Nipsey's life. And then that's even Nipsey's signature right there. All of it. All right, so that's the story. That's what I wanted to share with you. Isn't that wild? Let me show you this video here that I took of Thelonious doing this thing. I got that from Instagram. Damn, 18 minutes talking all this shit, man. What the hell, bro?
I see you back, man.